Welcome back, class. I'm Mr. Teacher with the SAT Math video guide, and last time I believe I drew just a little bit of number 18, and I said I was going to do it in the next video, and I'm going to just start it off, and hopefully we finish up section number 2 today. So, it says, the right circular cylinder above has diameter D and height H. Of the following expressions, which represents the volume of the smallest rectangular box that completely contains the cylinder? So the entire shape is going to be a cube, obviously, because it's a box. So let's imagine this entire shape like this, just a smaller, simpler version. And so the box is going to be something like this. And since the cylinder is 3D, although I didn't draw it, it's going to extend out a bit this way. No, that's very horrible scribbling. There we go. No. There we go. Close enough. So, now how are we going to really calculate the volume of the box? Well, what most people are going to make a mistake on this, the most common mistake, is choice A, which is just diameter times height, which they assume to be the volume of the cube, the box that's going to enclose it, but that's not true. So let's look at a cylinder from a bird's eye point of view. So all you're going to see is the circle, right? So we already know that this is diameter. But then again, since diameter is the same in one circle no matter where you measure it from, this is also going to be diameter. And so somewhere like this, that length is going to be diameter. So the volume of the cube is going to be diameter squared, because there's two diameters, times height, and that is choice B. So a little tricky, it's going to throw you off in the beginning, but once you get it, it's pretty simple. Next problem, number 19. So let's go with this weird yellow color. Oh, that's way too bright. No, I am not using that color. 19. That's also bright, but let's just keep it for now. The square of x is equal to 4 times the square of y. If x is 1 more than twice y, then what is the value of x? So for this one, let's write out the equation. So it says the square of x, which is x squared, is equal to 4 times the square of y. So it's 4 times y squared. And it also says that x is equal to 1 plus twice y. So 2y plus 1. So over here, and so we need to find the value of x. So we know the variable value of x, which is right here, 2y plus 1. So we could take this and plug it into this equation. So it'll become 2y plus 1 whole squared is equal to 4 times y squared. We can just delete the brackets because those aren't essential. So on the left hand side, we need to use the method called FOIL, if you remember, first, outside, inside, and last. So let's extend the entire equation first. 2y plus 1 times 2y plus 1. This is equal to, first is 4y squared. Outer is 2y times 1. So it's still 2y. Inner is also 2y. And outer is just 1 times 1, which is equal to 1. This is equal to 4y squared. So, I believe I'm doing it correct. So now we shall cancel out these two, because we don't need them. So, oh, no. 4y plus 1 is equal to 0. It seems like I'm making a mistake. No, it's correct. Okay, so 4y will be equal to minus 1, and y is equal to minus quarter. I apologize for getting kind of confused there. It is a little bit complicated, FOIL method. Yeah, so now we know that. Let's plug that in, this y value, into this equation. I don't want to put it into that equation because it involves squares, so we're not going to do that. In this equation, 2y plus 1, 2 times minus 1/4 is equal to minus 1/2. Minus 1/2 plus 1, which is equal to half. And x is equal to half. So that is choice E. So let's move on to the next problem now. The final problem in very bright pink. Number 20. In the xy coordinate plane, lines L and Q are perpendicular. If line L contains the points 0, 0 and 2, 1, and line Q contains the points 2, 1 and 0, T, what is the value of T? So instead of putting all your time in drawing a graph and trying to just figure out it like that, well, this is a slope problem, so you don't necessarily have to visualize. So let's put down the facts. In the xy coordinate plane, there is line L, and line L is perpendicular to line Q, I believe. Yes. And line L, let's just put down L, line L contains the points 0, 0, which is just the origin, and 2 and 1. Line Q contains the points 2, 1 and 0, T. So what is the first fact we know? These two lines are perpendicular. And I'm getting tired of this pink color, to be honest. I apologize for interrupting my own lecture there. But let's move on to something else. So we know that these two lines are perpendicular because it's given. So what is the product of the slopes of any two lines that are perpendicular? Well, let's test that out very quickly, just to give you a reminder of what we're doing. So this is 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Very horrible graph, but it'll be enough to visualize it. So this goes like this, and this goes like this. No, that doesn't go like that. This goes like this. So this is a point 1, 1, 2, 2, 1 minus 1, 1, 2 minus 2. So the slope, let's call this M, and let's call this N. Slope of line M is 1 up and 1 to the right. It is 1 up and 1 to the right. So slope of line M is equal to 1. How about the slope of line N? Well, slope of line N is 1 down, 1 to the right. So N is equal to minus 1. And then when you mix them together, you get 1 times minus 1, which is equal to minus 1. So the product of every single perpendicular line combination is going to be negative 1. So back to the problem. Let's then find the slope of line L, because we have all the points necessarily. We just need 2 points to find the slope of any given line. So the slope of line L is going to be the change in y over the change in x. So so y is 1 minus 0 and x is 2 minus 0. So the slope of line L is 1/2. So we know that the slope of line Q is going to be equal to negative 2. Oh dear. Negative 2. So now what do we do now? Because we have the slope, we just don't have the equation itself. And we need to find the value of t. For that we need the equation. So To find this now, let's plug this into this minus 2 into this equation. How do we do that? Well, the slope, which is minus 2, is equal to the change in y over the change in x. So the change in y is t minus 1. The change in x is just a simple 0 minus 2. So when you simplify this, minus 2 is equal to t minus 1 over minus 2. Now, so now from here what we want to do is we want to get rid of the denominator, so we multiply both sides by negative 2. And so this equation becomes 4 is equal to t minus 1. And then we add the 1 over here. I moved the arrow in the wrong way, but anyways, 5 is equal to t. So the value of t is equal to 5. And that is choice E. So that is test 2, section 2 for the time being. We're going to be moving on to the next math section, which is section 5, very soon. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.